Week 17, Hands-on Science, using the Van Cleve book and Nicole Liam Yang's notes from Cyce Connected. This is number 99, Testing for Starch. Today we're going to test for starch. Let's learn how chemical reactions can point out different elements present. So what kinds of questions do you have? Maybe, what is starch? Or how do scientists test the different properties of elements? What do you think? How do they test? What have you already learned? What is an atom or an element? Do you remember what we've talked about in past weeks? How about a molecule? What is a mixture or a solution? What's a chemical compound? What do we still need to find out? What are the different properties of matter? So we have a plate full of various items. They are all edible except for paper towel. And then we've got we have salt and sugar, but otherwise you can see very clearly here what we have. And we're going to test each one of these by putting a drop of iodine onto them. And what we're going to be testing to see if these items have starch. What do you think will happen? Which items do you think will have starch? And you could use all kinds of different types of items to test. So anything, if you're doing this at home, anything you can think of to try out would be fine. But which items do you think will have starch in them? And how do you think we'll know? We're going to be dropping iodine onto these items. So what do you think the iodine's going to do? Is it going to talk and say, I have starch? No, probably not, right? It's going to do something though. Okay, so let's try it out. Only adults will be working with the iodine, only the adults. And this iodine solution works just fine. It doesn't have to be the tincture of iodine that it says in the book. All right, so I'm going to use a dropper, and I sucked some up. Only adults are using iodine because iodine is poisonous and it stains. So we are going to put one drop on each item. Oh, and let's mention and notice, what color is this iodine? It's very dark black down here, but you can see up here it's like a brownish gold color. Okay, and so when I dropped it on the apple, it's still that brownish gold color. That's some celery, still brownish gold. Brownish gold. Cheese. Here's some cilantro. Sugar. So far, it's all just staying this brownish gold color. Let's try the chip on the paper towel. Strawberry. Cracker. Oh no, did you notice what's happening with the chip right here? I don't know if you noticed when I first dropped it on, it looked brownish gold, but look at what color it's turning. Really dark blackish purple. And check out the cracker. I'll do more on the cracker so you can see it really well. It's turning blackish. Let's try the popcorn. Whoa, that hit it and it immediately turned that blackish color, about crouton bread. Can you see how these have turned that blackish color? But everything else on here is still that golden brown color. So we know, because you'll have to take my word for it, that iodine will turn starch. It has a chemical reaction with starch. So which of these items had a chemical reaction? Was it the ones that look the same? Nope. It didn't change the iodine at all by touching. So it wasn't those, it was these where the iodine turned black. And remember the chip, it actually took some time for that to turn black. It didn't turn black immediately, but some of them, like the popcorn, it touched it and immediately turned black. So the chemical reaction happened faster on some than others. So starch in bread, starch in a crouton, in popcorn, crackers, chips. These are all starches. So in this experiment, we tested for starch. Starch is a type of glucose or sugar that plants make to store their extra energy. It's a molecule made up of the elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. When scientists want to test for glucose or any substance, they can use information already known about its elements. Every element on the periodic table, remember our periodic table here? Every element on the periodic table has specified properties that make it identifiable. Scientists note elements' melting and freezing points, their flammability or flexibility, their atomic mass, and even their reactivity to other elements. Starch molecules, for example, are known to have a chemical reaction with iodine. We've learned that when a chemical reaction happens between two substances, their molecules break apart and rearrange themselves to form new molecules called compounds. These compounds have their own properties. In our experiment, the chemical reaction between starch and iodine created a compound with a darker purple color. Ours was really pretty much black. It was very obviously different. So that is testing for starch. And if you did this at home, you could test other things, maybe try out some things that aren't edible. Like we tried this paper towel, but you could try some different types of paper. You could try plastic. You know, you could take some good guesses and get some good hypotheses about whether they would have starch in them or not. But maybe some fabric with your mom's permission because it will stain. But you could try some different things. That'd be really cool. So that was all about chemical reactions.